Hello, I've got an interesting video for you today. We're going to be taking a look at two of my Vornado fans, the DC610 and the DC533. They're both air circulators. One's bigger than the other, and we're going to be comparing them, the airflows, the wattage that they draw, because they're part of their Eco series. So let's get into it. First with some testing, and then we'll take a look at the data. This is the 53 DC, and we're going to be taking a look at how much power draw and airspeed it pushes, and I'm going to do a rough CFM calculation on it to know how good this fan is. The reason I'm bringing it up is that this is part of Vornado's Energy Smart series, so let's get right into it. So first up, the fan is completely off. We can see that the fan is not spinning, excuse the dust. And this is how much parasite, is that what it's called? Power draw it draws. So it's at 4.3 watts, just sitting, not doing anything. And this is its absolute minimum. And at its minimum airspeed, which is not what I use for making noise inside my bedroom for sleeping purposes mainly, and circulate air, is around 1.7, 1.6 watts. And in meters per second for airspeed, just a rough estimate, around 1 meter per second. All right, the speed is about 1/4, I'm gonna say, thereabouts. The airspeed, give it a hot minute, is around 1.1. Give it a minute. Well, let's take a look at the wattage while that's speeding up. 1.8, 1.7 watts. And we are at 1.2 meters per second. All right, let's turn it up a little bit more. All right, we are now at about halfway. It's going to get pretty noisy, so I'm going to do my best. Let's skip past that. We are at 5.3 watts, so there's a big jump there. Maybe that's a little over half. And 3.3 meters per second. Let's jump up to the next setting. All right, we are at about 10.5 watts. 2.6, 2.8, 3. Still climbing as it's getting its readings in. Looks like it's stabilized, 4.2. So like 3/4. This is at 100%. So at 100% is pretty much unrealistically noisy. You would use it to, like, I don't know, circulate the air really quickly if you needed it, and then you turn it back down. This setting, so about 1/3, is what I actually use for the bedroom. Let's get a reading for what it is, and that is 2.5 watts. And the airspeed is stabilizing. All right, there it is, about 2 meters per second of airflow, and I'm going to do the calculation for what that CFM is. This just can't read it off that, and I know the surface area, so I can easily do that calculation. So that is my preferred setting, and that is its power draw. Let's take a look at the other fan. This is the Vornado 610 DC, part of Vornado's Energy Smart series, and this is the other fan I'm going to be taking a look at in this. Right now it is in power off, and its vampire power is 0.43 watts, somewhere in there. So let's go ahead and turn it on. So that is about 1/4. Go ahead and turn on the anemometer. Is that easier to see? Maybe not. So looks like right around 1.6 5.6 meters per second. And our wattage is 1.8 watts. Let's go ahead and move it up. So I'm going to be sitting a little off to the side to try to not get too much wind noise. Let's see, about halfway. That gets us 9.3 watts of energy draw, power draw. And three point four five meters per second of airflow. All right, let's do 3/4. All right, I know that was loud. I do apologize. It's just I'm only filming with the cell phone and without a mic right now. 4.5 meters per second, 4.95 meters per second, at about 3/4 with a power draw of 25.6 watts. Let's do 100. It'll be very noisy. I was covering up the microphone. Hopefully it wasn't too bad for you all. .6, 5.9 meters per second at 48.5 watts. Now, where do I like to listen to it? Now, this is my normal setting. Probably right about 1/3 of the way around. And that setting gives us 2.3 meters per second of airflow at 3.9 watts. That's fairly energy efficient, so it can draw a crazy amount of power or be fairly efficient depending on what settings you're using it at. Let's take a look at some graphs. So now that we've taken a look at the practical results, let's see how they look on a graph. So I do have a couple other models on here from the data points that are listed online. So the purple here is the 660 LG. This blue dot right there is the 633 medium by the 533 small. And we got the HT904. So the blue line here is my Vornado 533, and the blue line, sorry, I'm just pointing at the wrong one. The 610 is the blue line is the 610 DC, and the red line is the 533. So it's pretty clear that the larger fan is more efficient for its CFM compared to wattage, especially as the CFM kind of increases. But notice these curves, it gets a lot less efficient for not that much more CFM. Kind of an interesting result there. And then this goes into where how the company measures results versus how they're analyzed, I guess you could say. Because the 533, based on its spec, should be producing a lot more airflow than what I picked up. So I measured it directly coming out of the fan. If you blow it down a tube to calculate CFM that way, you're going to potentially get a very different result. So I didn't get anywhere near the same performance, so I don't want to say Vornado is lying, but that's not what I got, and it was directly coming out of the fan. Same with the 610. So there is that going on. And right here is the raw data that I collected. So we got a minimum airspeed, calculated CFM. The power draw, it was going on 25% approximately airspeed, 50%, 70%, 10%, and then what I like to run it at 30%. We got the price of the different fans that were listed in this testing. So the 633 medium air circulator, the 610 large air circulator, the 533 small air circulator. So these were not part of the Eco series, while the two that I own are part of the Eco series. Max distance that the air is supposed to be able to travel, 80 feet, 75 feet. Other ones listed. The Honeywell HT904, or not 90, yeah, 904, 25 feet. CFM high, CFM low. You know, these are the data points that that are supposed to be achievable by these fans. Got kind of different results in terms of the max like CFM that we actually saw. So where does that leave me with these fans? Well, I've obviously liked my fans because I've owned them for a few years. I like the control knob on them. 3-speed setting is kind of doable, but being able to fine tune the setting to exactly what I want is really nice. Whether it's worth the extra price hike that comes along with it. So particularly like the 533 versus the 533 small air circulator. You know, it's an extra, what's that, $27? That's up for you to decide. But I know that this is very informal test, very light testing with these. But I thought I'd weigh in on it because it's a product that I'm sure people buy. I like the white noise, which is why I have the fan and helps move the air around the bedroom. And in the wintertime, I have an oil heater. I have it blow past the oil heater, helps remove the heat from that heater and distribute across the room more evenly. My bedroom is one of the coolest rooms in the house. That's why I need it. Anyways, thank you very much for watching my video. I hope you have a great day. Hope to see you next time here on Computer Tech and More.